Good morning. Today we are going to be doing a 50-hour break-in service on our TYM 494. Start by warming up the machine, then lift the loader up out of your way and support it to be safe. Your engine oil drain is here and here with the yellow paint on them, and they're a 17 millimeter. Use a little brake clean to just dry everything off and get rid of that excess oil. Next, we will remove the engine oil filter that is located on the passenger side of the motor. Let that drain down, as to try to make a less of a mess at least. Always make sure the O-ring comes out with the filter and doesn't stay on the housing block. If that gasket stays on there and you put your new one on, you will get an oil leak. Next, you want to put a little bit of oil on the O-ring on your new filter and spin it on hand tight. Well, that's on there pretty tight. This tractor holds 4.5 quarts of 1540 diesel engine oil. Let's check our fluid. Our engine oil dipstick is located down behind the loader with a nice yellow handle. And we're good. We're right to the line. So it calls for 4.5 quarts. We're going to run it like that first and make sure. And if we have to add a little more later, we will. So to change the engine oil on the 494, you need a gallon of 1540 diesel oil, a new filter, and a 17mm wrench and a drain pan. Now we are going to change the 8090 gear oil in the front axle. On the front axle, you have your fill, you have your drain, and you also have a breather plug. They're all marked in yellow on my tractor that have to come out. Okay, now it's time to put the pipe plugs back in. And because they're pipe plugs, you want to put some Teflon tape on them before you insert them so they don't leak. You want to install the bottom ones, but leave the top breather plugs out until you fill it. Because the design of the axle is similar to a trap that you would have in plumbing, and you will airlock and not get oil properly up into the gears on the axle. The front axle on this tractor calls for 8090 gear oil, and it calls for 10.5 quarts. Okay, so we left the drain plugs out, the breather plugs out until we got all the oil in. We got 10.5 quarts of 8090 gear oil in it. And it's not coming out the sides, it's a slow trickle through. So we'll leave that set there like that while we do the rest of the tractor. And then later on, we'll put those plugs back in. and the oil will find its level at that point. So when the fluid starts to run out of the breather hole, now is when you can put the plug back in. Again, with a piece of Teflon tape on it to seal it. Now I only showed you the passenger side, but you do the exact same process on both sides at the same time. To take these plugs out, you can either use a 12mm open-end wrench, a 1/2 inch 8-point socket, or a 9/16 12-point socket. Whatever tools you have available is what I'd recommend. Now our air filter should not need to be changed, but it's not a bad idea to check it. You can also take your compressor and blow this out from the inside out before reinstalling. Check your coolant. Look over any other visible signs of anything under the hood while you have the hood up. Next, you'll want to tighten all your bolts on your whole tractor. Just take your time, go around all your frame bolts, loader bolts, axle bolts. Just take your time and go over the whole tractor. Make sure all your bolts, nuts, everything is tight. Now we're going to change the hydraulic fluid in the rear end. This requires a 22mm socket and a couple of drain pans because you're going to get about 10 gallons of fluid. Warm the tractor up first so the fluid flows well. Take your drain plug out, which is located right here. Another thing I did is took out the fill cap at the top so that way it gets good airflow as it's draining. So here's our one filter right here underneath the cab. Ideally I'd have a big filter wrench, but I don't have one here. Try that from underneath. Get a better angle at it. Again, with any filter that we remove, we want to wipe it down. Make sure we didn't leave the gasket behind before we oil and put our new filter on. All right, that's that filter. And let's go over the other side. We got one more to get. Let's make sure that you have a good view of this. Bear with me. There's your other filter. Really can't get a good camera angle on it. So I'm going to show you the filter and then I'm going to change it. Again, we will wipe that off, let it all drain down. All that fluid's draining and we're back here working. There's a couple grease fittings on some pivot points on the brake arms and pedals, so we'll hit those grease fittings. Tell you what, if you own one of these tractors, go buy yourself a battery operated grease gun. It's an amazing tool and well worth the money. Alright, now that that's done dripping, wipe this fluid off the loader arm. Alright, let's see where you are. Let's get you back over here. Put this drain plug back in. Get you out here to refill this. In the meantime, this was attached to the magnet on my drain plug in my transmission. So I'm going to reach out to my dealer about this tomorrow and find out what that might belong to. Anybody else have a problem like this? If you did, let me know. I'd appreciate it. Now this tractor calls for 10.8 gallons of hydraulic fluid. Now, if you see how I'm pouring with this 5-gallon bucket, the guy I used to work with when I was a kid taught me this trick. Make it pour easier without glurping so much, because a lot of guys would pour them the other way and jam an ice pick in the top of the bucket lid for an air breather, but then that bucket was ruined. So if you pour the bucket upside down first, you get air in without poking a breather hole. Now we'll check this fluid level, make sure it's good. See if we have to add any more. Finish greasing the points on the back of the tractor. Check the bolts on the back of the tractor, make sure everything's snug. And that's a brief overview of a 50-hour service on a TYM 494. If you do something a different way, please let me know. I'd appreciate to learn something from somebody else. Or if you do anything different with yours, again, let me know. I always appreciate the feedback. Thank you.